So I'm going to chain 35 of the pink, which is going to be the base of my hat color. So now I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So that will give us the chain 3 space and 1 double crochet. I'm going to skip the next single chain stitch, and then I'm going to double crochet in the next chain, and I'm going to actually do 2 double crochets in that chain together there. And then I'm going to chain 1 and skip the next double crochet and skip the next chain, and then do a 2 double crochets in the next chain. And you're setting up a pattern. You're going to be doing 2 double crochets, then you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip 1 double crochet, and you're going to complete that all the way till you get to the end of your chain. You're going to chain 3. What we're going to do now in this first chain 1 space, we're going to put 6 double crochets in there. Now this chain 3 space is going to act as one of my double crochets, so I'm only going to do 5. So let's do 5 double crochets in that chain 1 space, and 5. So now for the 2 double crochets that are together, in the space between them, not the chain at the top, but the space that's in between them, you're going to do a single crochet in there. And what that's going to do is going to give us our little indentation in our flower. So now we got to the next hole where we got our single crochet space. You're going to do 6 double crochets in that space. So now I wanted you to see how you're getting that scalloped edge? That's what you're wanting to get, that nice little scallop. So we're going to continue this all the way around by putting 6 double crochets into that chain 1 space, and by putting a single crochet in between the 2 double crochets. Okay, as you see, I have finished going all the way to the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut my thread or my yarn, and I'm going to join with my red because now I want to do the trim. So I'm going to just do a slip stitch and pull that through. Going to turn it, and now I'm going to join the red. I'm going to do a slip stitch right into the top of the last double crochet. Going to turn it over, lie it down, and I'm going to tie my knot into, the back with the 2 threads together. I like to do that. And I'm going to hold those because I'm going to crochet over those. So I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm going to do a single crochet in that same hole. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do a single crochet in each of the double crochets until you get to the scallop, where the indentation is on the scallop. So I'm going to do a chain 1 in each of these double crochets because now we're doing the trim work, or we're adding the decorative look to our rose. So I'm just going into the top of each of the double crochets and doing a single crochet. Okay. And now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to cut the tails off the back side because that's going to be my back side now. Okay. So now we're at the space where the little indentation is in our scallop. What you're going to do in there is you're going to do a slip stitch. So you're going to go in, pull the thread, and pull it through. And you see, by doing that slip stitch, we're keeping our scalloped edge. I'm going to do a single crochet in the next 6 double crochets, and you're going to complete this all the way around until you're done with the entire rose. So you see how, even though we've outlined it, you still have your scalloped edge. So you're going to complete this all the way around until you're completely done. So now I'm down to the end. So this is the last of my my single crochets. So what I'm going to do is, because I have this little edge where my tail is, I like to go ahead and crochet all the way down to the end, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and pull it through. And as I did before, I'm going to tie off the 2 together because I really like to do that. Tie them off. And then I'm going to clip the ends a little bit because you won't see any of this. It's going to be on the underside. But anyway, when you're done, this is what you should have. So now I'm going to show you how we're going to make the rosette. Where I had the tails, that's going to be the center. And you see what I'm doing? I'm just following the pattern. I'm wrapping it underneath. And it's just sitting on top of each other. And see, isn't that a pretty rose? Isn't that pretty? So now, remember I took the center and I stuck it in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over. I'm going to take both of my thread tails and I'm going to stick them through this little opening right here. So I got them both pulled through. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave one of them out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot around the two to anchor them together. Okay, and so by doing that, your rose pretty much stays in place. And you see how it looks like a real rose? It's got definition. Since I've already got my needle threaded in red, I'm just going to knot it so that it stays in place. These tapestry needles come in handy. So now I like to put my rose just a little bit off. You can put it in the center if you choose, but I want mine off-centered. And you see, you flip it over. I'm going to unbutton my scarf so it lays flat. And now what I'm going to do, before I actually attach it, because I can see this is where I'm going to put it, I'm going to put my needle inside here and just anchor it on the back of the rose. I always like to do that because it just makes it so much easier to hold everything in place. And I'm just going to anchor it to make sure it stays together. I'm going to anchor that in, and what I'm going to do also is I'm going to anchor a little bit of each of the rows just so that it doesn't disconnect itself when I go to sew it down. So now I'm going to put my yarn through. I'm going to kind of sew in a spiral the same way I did the rose. So I'm at the very end of anchoring it in place. So what I'm going to do is flip it over and look at it before I finish to see if it looks okay and it's pretty secure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to anchor my hat in place. Now we're done with our hat. Simple as that. Well, I hope you try this project. Happy crocheting!